Montreal smoked meat. If you're interested in making this, then this is the video for you. Such a well-known meat, and every time I make this, which has been a lot lately, it churns out just like the meat in Montreal. Even the very first time I did it, it churned out great. So let's go over the process. Okay, so the first step is trimming the brisket. And what we're going to do is we're going to trim most of the fat off on this side and trim this thick piece of fat up. And on the fat side, we're just going to trim it up to about 1/4 of an inch of fat and make all the edges nice and smooth. Okay, so I got the brisket all trimmed up. I actually took quite a bit more off than I expected. It was whoever butchered it. So to trim it up, I took a bit off. So let's put the spices on it now. So first, we're going to put on the salt. And what you start with is a pink salt. You put on 1.13 grams per pound. And you want to be precise with this, and you want to carefully distribute it all over the meat, getting it on the edges and everything. Kosher salt is 9.07 grams per pound. Get the salt all rubbed in and rub it around. What you're going to do is take a bag, put your brisket in the bag. So the next step is to put the spices all together. I'm going to grind up the peppercorns and the seeds, and then we're going to mix them together and put them in a bag. The measurements I'm going to give you initially are for a 15-pound brisket. Mine is 10 pounds, so I reduced it by 1/4 roughly. It want to be fairly precise, but if you're a little off, it's fine. Okay, so I have the spices all ground up, mixed together. And all we're going to do is put them all over the brisket, spread them all around, and then we're going to throw it in the fridge for 10 days, flipping it every day. As much air out as possible. Electrical tape it off. That's the way to do it. And I'm going to mark the date on it so I know when the 10 days are up. And we'll set it in the fridge, keeping this side up, flip it daily, making sure the side's up because this will produce juice and you don't want it to leak out. So let's put it in the fridge. Montreal smoked meat, it's been in the fridge 10 days. It was time to take it out. I rinsed all the spices off it that I could in the sink, and now it's time to soak it in the water, submerge it in cold water, and rinse it in cold water. And we're going to submerge it for 4 hours, and we're going to change the water every half hour. The Montreal smoked meat is out of the water. It was in for 4 hours. I changed the water every half hour. I didn't record that because I thought it'd just be boring and I might lose you. So the next step is we're going to put a very nice light coat of mustard all over it. And then we're going to sprinkle the spices that we soaked it in for 10 days, same thing, just no bay leaves and no salt, ground up, and we're going to cover that once the mustard's on there, and then it's going to be ready to put on the smoker at 220, and we're going to bring the internal temperature to 165, and then we're going to steam it in the oven for the last few hours to bring it to 203. So let's get started with the mustard and the spices. All ready to go into the smoker. And to insert the meat thermometer in the thickest spot. This is a great one because it takes the
internal temperature and the ambient temperature. It has multiple sensors to take the temperature, get the proper reading. We'll be back to check on it in a few hours.
The Montreal smoked meat is up to temperature. Its internal temperature is 165. It's time to take it out and do the next process. So this is probably your most difficult step in the process. The easiest thing that I found is I got this great big pot. I got a rack inside that I bought and just kind of modified that it fits in there. I got the water filled up just below it because what you want to do is put the Montreal smoked meat in there with the meat thermometer. And we have the oven on 275. What I actually had to do is take every rack out, and the pot just fits in there. So I'm gonna put the cover on this, and we're gonna set it in the oven until it reaches an internal temperature of 203. The Montreal smoked meat, it's up to temperature, it's up to 203. So we're gonna remove it and let it cool for 15 minutes. So the meat's cooled for 15 minutes. Just carefully lift it up, put it back in the water, and we're going to leave that soaking there till it gets to 140, and then, like I said before, we'll remove it and let it cool down completely. The Montreal smoked meat is it's cooled down to 140, so it's time to take it out. So what I'll do is I'll continue to cool this down. I'll let it cool completely. I'll put it in the fridge. All right, the time has finally come. You know, it's been a long process, 10 days to cure it. We've been a day smoking it. We steamed it, and now it just came out of soaking in the water for 4 hours. We're gonna cut this. We're looking for a nice rich texture, fall apart, like Montreal smoked meat. But before I do that, I wanted to say 2 quick things. That I filmed this over 2 times in making this. So if you notice, the brisket is a little bit different. I lost video, and that is why. And the second one is, if you enjoyed this video, I have an awesome video on Wagyu brisket. That it's a must watch. You know, it's different, but it's as good as this, and you'll definitely enjoy it. And let's cut this and see if it's everything that I think it's going to be, which it usually is every time. Look at that. It's just like Montreal smoked meat. Let's cut this apart this way, see what it looks like. Look at that. The juice is running into that. All right, so we're gonna slice a bit of it. So look at that. You can obviously tell from the video that that looks like Montreal smoked meat. So let's give it a try. It's beautiful. I'm not exaggerating. You do this, you follow the directions and instructions, it will turn out just like the meat in Montreal. And if you do that, come back and let me know how you made out. I'd love to hear. Have a good day.